Welcome back, people. It's another day, another dollar, and here we are with another update to the motorcycle. What? Today I wanted to try something out, and this is what I got. Just so far, I do the other side a little better, but it is what it is. I've noticed when I crank up the motorcycle that I get a bunch of rattling, and come to find out, my lower fairings rather are vibrating against the crash bar and my foot peg. So I figure I'd come up with a better idea. Obviously these are the cheaper version of the lower fairing, not the Harley version, and it comes with some things that do not come with genuine OME stuff. And one of those things that does come with it is this bottom strap down here, where you can tie it in and it'll stay secure. But here at the top on the OEMs, they have a strap that comes across here, and it straps down to keep this tight, and you won't get all that rattling. So what I decided to do after looking at those, and I was like, hey, I can make some type of modification to mine. What I did was I got a regular clamp screw, like you would with your hoses off a car. These here. And I drilled a hole in him, or better yet, I cut it with the Dremel on the inside just to get this past, and then I can secure it here. And what I noticed was when I put it up here, that this piece, if you do it right in this area, it won't interfere with the capsule that goes on the top to make it look all clean. So I'm buttoning in this one back up, and then I'll come back to you guys and give you a better description as to what I did and how I did it. So just give me a little time. All right, I've already taken off the speaker, so that has already been removed. So now to get this, it's just three pieces. You have the speaker lid, you have to take, which will come off with the speakers because they drill in. And then on the inside, you have two 10 mils, which are in here, one at the top, one at the bottom. And then once I get those out, it would allow me to take off this the backing. Once you take that off, then you'll see the three screws that hold on the speaker box to the actual fairing. So like I said, I'll break it down as we go. So next up is the 10 mil to take out those two screws. So now we have those two screws out, which allow these two to release. And then next up, we're gonna get the back side. Now to get the screws out of the back, so we can separate the speaker housing from the fairing. And like I said, you have one screw here, you have one screw here, and you have another screw, which is behind that crash bar. And we'll slightly tilt it forward and grab that other one. I got that apart. We took a bunch of little finagling for that. Now that we have this piece disconnected from the housing, now we got to reroute the speaker wires back through that hole, and then possibly reroute them back through that hole. And once we get there, I can give you a better idea as to where we're going. We got the wires routed back through them, and we're good to go. And just in case, I kind of want to get you familiar with this. Like I said, man, you have three pieces. have this piece that goes around the crash bar, and it'll mount to the back side. It'll mount to the back side. Let me see. It'll mount to the back side like so. In that case, I want to say it's 4 pieces. So that's 1 piece. And then you have the speaker piece, which goes like that. So you got 1 piece, 2 piece, and the 3 piece back here in the back. And you have the speaker lid that goes in the front. What I learned from doing this was I thought I could just go ahead and saw it from it, or better yet, cut that piece out the back and just let it come up through this. But the best thing about this is that this piece, the front piece, the speaker lid, comes off. And all you really have to do is cut this piece in here. Put a little notch right here and a notch along the bottom, and then you'll run your clasp through here so you can draw it tight. So here we go. What I did was, on the first one was, I put a notch right in here. At the top of these 3, the ones that draw it tight, like when you rub on the inside, you could tell, like I want it to be in this corner, so it'll draw it tight from a diagonal standpoint. It won't be straight on, it'll be kind of cocked, but it'll be able to get the closest edge. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a slit right here and a slit on this top side, and then we'll go from there. Forgot to tell you as well too, if you get that clasp right in this area here, you won't have to worry about the outside piece button up against it, and you'll have a little clearance in here. So if you get it, like I said, along this edge, let me pull it up a little bit. If you get it along that edge right there, it's a little ribs in here to draw it tight and keep it not necessarily rubbing up against it. But if you get it right here along the top and right just below this area here, it should draw tight very well. And like I said, if you get it in here, you'll have a little bit of play and you won't be having problems with like clearance in here. But so try to get it just below that bolt, but just to the top of this rib right here, if you can see that. All right, here we go. Alright, now I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is right here. So now I put a hole in it. Let me tilt down. I put a hole in it right in here, and a hole on this side, which is right here. And that way I can put my clasp through there and draw it tight. So hold on a minute, let me grab it. This clasp is 3/4 to 1 3/4. So we got plenty of clearance in this. Now let me tell you guys something as well too. This is the speaker housing, front, back. Now, the piece that I just cut sits on the outside of this one. So if water were to get into this, based on me drilling that, it wouldn't get into the actual area where the speaker is. So just keep that in mind. Inside the speaker housing, if water does get in here, they have little holes in the back so the water can escape in that very bottom down there. So if water were to get in here, it would be able to escape. So just keep that in mind. And also too, this is somewhat isolated away from the part that I just cut. So you shouldn't have any problems of water, you know, somewhat getting in here, no more than the one that'll probably be pounding on the top of it. And hopefully you have a good seal around the edge, and that way you can kind of help yourself so you can prevent your speakers from getting wet. But like I said, if you watch previous videos of mine, these speakers that I have are waterproof, so I'm not necessarily worried about water getting on the top because it does fairly well. I've had it for quite some time, and it should go pretty smooth. So we'll continue with this. I'm going to go over to the bike and put the clamp on with the fairing portion, and then we'll go from there. All right, now I got to put this clasp on here and tighten it down. And what I wanted it to be was, I wanted it to be when I put my foot peg in, it doesn't rub up against it, and I got just about maybe a 1/4 inch of distance, and we tighten that up. That's about good enough. I don't want to break that ABS. But anyways, it's good and tight now. I have no problems with that now. Something else I wanted to say as well too. Like I said, when you have the holes in the bottom here, you don't necessarily have to worry about those because you have the compartment with the speaker in it as well. So that's good and tight. Now we have the bottom, down here at the bottom tight, and we got the top tight. One of the drawbacks to this is you have 3 screws. Like I told you before, you have one here, one at the top, and one right behind this crash bar. You won't be able to put this one in behind the crash bar, but you'll be able to put those other 2 in. But like I said, man, once you put this on, it feels very secure. The other side is very secure. It doesn't feel wibbly wobbly, and you can't really even tell that there's a gap on the other side. There isn't a gap. And just make sure when you're screwing these back in, the screws that are in here, they could definitely break the ABS in this area. So just do it, you know, a little tight, whatever the case may be. Just don't over tighten it and break your ABS, and then who knows what you may have to go through. But just tighten it very lightly. It gets real snug, and then call it a day. Don't try to go past what you think is snug, and definitely listen, because it's probably gonna make some type of noise before it does go. So moving on. On the inside we have those, we had the cables, and then now on the back side we want to put those two screws we talked about earlier. All right, we got those 2 screws in. We got this one and we got this one. Like I keep repeating myself, this one you can't screw in because it's on the crash bar, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's come on around to the front. We got to put those 2 screws in here to bring the cover for the back. So screw here and a screw up here. Be right back. All right, we got our 2 screws in now, which was a pain in the butt. And now all we got to do to button it up is to plug in our 2 cables to our speaker, and we'll be good to go. All right, I finally finished. I got the speakers back in, and it looks Gucci. Looks just like it normally would. You wouldn't be able to tell. Everything looks buttoned up and it's real tight. Like I say, man, you stick with me, we'll give you some little tips to do what you got to do to your bike, man. But yeah, that's the lower fairings, and it's the ABS one, the cheap ones, maybe like $100. And if you need to, instead of it leaning on the side and making that rattle noise, you could tighten it up and get her done. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.